So you write stories every day, you do exposés. The question is, did it change anything? The answer is no, it didn't. You find the same mistakes being made, you find the same crooks running around, you find the same fraud going on. No, it didn't change a thing. The only time I think that there was actually a change that I'm aware of in anybody's life because of something I did was during the Equal Rights Amendment debate in Carson City. And the Speaker of the House was a guy named Danny Demers. And the women's groups had, obviously they'd gone around and hit all the senators and all the assembly people trying to persuade them to vote yes on the Equal Rights Amendment, and had given them money. And Danny was one of the people that was supposedly on their side, and he'd taken the money and the whole bit. But the people in the assembly had no idea that the Equal Rights Amendment vote would even get to the assembly. They thought it would be killed in the Senate. It wasn't killed in the Senate because Bob Rose was then lieutenant governor. It was tied in the Senate. He cast the vote that pushed it into the assembly. Now these guys had to vote. Well, when Danny voted, he voted no. I had heard earlier up there, I was just up there for 3 or 4 days because I was based in Las Vegas. I had heard that there was an assemblyman who was not living in Nevada. And so I started tracking it down, and it turned out it was Danny Demers. He was living at the lake in California. Why was he living in the lake in California? Well, someone had given him a really good rate. Who were they? There was somebody in California. There was another bill working through the legislature at the time on it was being promoted by Roma Mayer. It was going to kill cancer or some such thing, Laetrile. I put a message on the wire just between bureaus or something. I was trying to find out who owned that place he was living. And the name came up out of San Francisco Bureau, somehow came up with the name. San Diego Bureau chimed in and said, hey, that guy's indicted down here for smuggling Laetrile. Now I had Danny Demers living at cheap rent in a house in California with a landlord who was smuggling Laetrile and was being charged in California. I had a good story. And Danny was going to run for a lot higher office. Well, he didn't. He didn't even run for re-election. He left the state. I think eventually he came back and somehow got involved in a telemarketing deal, and he left again. But anyway, that's the only change I know I ever made. Danny Demers didn't proceed his political career in Nevada.